What's up, Canucks Army? Chris Faber here with Frank Seravalli from Daily Faceoff. Frank, thank you for doing this. Lots to talk about today. It's going to be a busy week for the Vancouver Canucks, and I think we have to start with JT Miller.
Why not? Yeah, I mean, look, that's the big name that's percolating here in Montreal. It seems like if you're looking at maybe a little bit of a pecking order in terms of deals that may go down on Thursday, I think first up is Alex DeBrincat with the Chicago Blackhawks. They're trying to eke their way into the first round and get a high pick if they can. But right under that, JT Miller and the Canucks, I do think there's a significant probability or possibility that something does go down on Thursday involving JT Miller. The interest has been strong. We've known that going back to November, December, however long we've been talking about the idea of JT Miller floating out there in the ether. And the fact that these two sides, as I reported on Wednesday, met here in Montreal on Tuesday, continued the discussions where, Chris, you know, the writing seems to have been on the wall for a while now between the Canucks and the Miller camp, in that it seems like these two sides are not just far apart, but have not really had the opportunity to find some common ground financially with terms, and then also I think just fit too. We've talked about this before. I think the ultimate desire for JT Miller, an Ohio native, is to get back playing in the U.S. We've talked about some of the teams that have had interest in JT Miller: the New York Rangers, the New Jersey Devils, the Washington Capitals, although Brian McClellan, the GM of the Caps, threw a little bit of cold water on that, saying he thinks Nicholas Backstrom is going to be back at some point this year, which may eliminate some cap space. All eyes on the Canucks to see what they do. This is a major piece for their future and the future direction of this team if he were to move on Thursday.
How many teams are legitimately involved here with JT Miller?
I think a small handful, 4 or 5, something like that, that have been very consistent in their interest to try and get a guy like JT Miller that has an edge, that wants to, that can put up another 85, 100-point season.
Interesting name that's kind of been out there a little bit as well, Tyler Myers. Tell me what you think about this Tyler Myers situation. I liked your off-air comment.
It's like a self-fulfilling thing, that sort of narrative that kind of keeps spinning, and I don't know why that's the case, Chris. You look at Tyler Myers, and yes, he may not be playing exactly up to commensurate with his salary on the Vancouver Canucks cap, but if you were to pry him off the roster on a team that already is thin on the right side, who's going to play there? That's my big thing that I keep coming back to. Yes, you'd like to create salary cap flexibility. That's the big buzzword we've heard from Jim Rutherford and Patrick Allvin. But in this case, I just don't know who's going to play there. So you're going to maybe create some flexibility, but also create a very large hole for the team to fill that I frankly don't know that you can fill in one offseason.
Literally, a huge hole with Tyler Myers if he's gone. The Vancouver Canucks select 15th overall in the NHL Draft. That's going to be an interesting one. Trade down options potentially. Maybe we'll get into that in the next video.
Everything's on the table. Absolutely.
And that will get started. The draft round 1, 4 o'clock Pacific time. We'll see you there and have you covered here at Canucks Army.